Good evening, everybody. My name is Teresa Crack, and I am your FY19 President-elect, and I am happy to welcome you to our first digital digest of the fiscal year, and I am here with Elaine. Elaine, would you like to say hi to everybody?
Hello.
Elaine is our president this year, and we're both really excited to be bringing back our digital digest series for this year. Getting started here. So we've updated a little bit of our digital digest format. We're keeping with the minute or so with SWE PNW this year, where we're going to go through essentially our quick high-level highlights of what's going on with SWE PNW, our events, and how you can engage with the section. After that, we ask that you stick around and learn a little bit more about SWE business and the behind the scenes. We promise we'll keep that to the interesting stuff. We'll talk about the society info, and we'll do our SWE PNW shout-outs and recognize our section members who are doing awesome things to help us be a successful section. And then at the very end, we will open it up for our AMA, which is our Ask Me Anything. And you can ask us any questions. We just ask that you go ahead and post those over in the Facebook event for today's digital digest. So with that, we will go ahead and get started with our minute or so with SWE PNW. So up first, Elaine, do you want to talk about how people can connect to our section?
So we have a lot of different ways for you to engage with us at the EC level and just with each other in the community. So we have our website, swepnw.org. We are revamping some of the pages to align better with some of the new things coming from HQ and some of the changes that are going on with this year. So look for updates on that. Our blog, Rainy Day Reads, is located at the blog spot listed there below. We have our newsletter notes from the Northwest. They are distributed by email, and past issues are listed on the website. We also have our monthly events highlight e-blast, which is also distributed by email and past emails on the website. And social media, right now we have our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all with the SWE PNW. And we're looking at other ones to possibly start up. But these are the ones for sure that we have right now that we're all active on.
So speaking of our social media and how you can stay current with our events, what else do we have for members to connect with?
There is our Google Calendar, which uh, it updates as we add things to it. So please check it often, and sync instructions are on the page to have it load automatically into your own Google Calendar. We also have our Facebook with our events. Uh, they are live for you to interact, tag your friends, like, push out for other people to see so that we get more people coming. Share pics and tag with at SWE PNW so that it gets shown on our Instagram as well. We also have our email list that you can go to sign up at as well. And Eventbrite, all of our events are through Eventbrite. Search SWE PNW. They are also listed on Facebook as they go live. So those are all the ones that we have active right now for engaging with us and knowing where our things are.
Yeah, and that's really cool because one of the things on the Eventbrite, they keep introducing additional features so that you can follow event organizers. And so you can find our SWE PNW event organizers and follow that through your own personal Eventbrite account. So then you get notified when we post new events. And I actually got notified the other day about this lovely event because I had signed up for it through Eventbrite. So those reminders can be very helpful so that you can keep these events on your schedule and you remember to show up for them, which I would say as a host for this event, it was very important that I remembered to be here. So coming down the pipeline, speaking of events, we want to give everybody a quick tease of what we've got in the works and on the books already. So we have our first sort of face-to-face EC meeting coming up this Saturday, and that's going to be in Redmond. We've got several outreach events. The next one's coming up on October 13th, and that's one of our Think Like an Engineer Journey activities. That's going to be in Bellevue. We've got a social and networking event coming up on the 14th, which is an escape room, which has got lots of puzzles to solve so that you can all work together as a team and escape the room. And then a happy hour afterwards. That's going to be over in Seattle. We want to remind everybody and wish everybody well who's traveling to WE18 for Let's Break Boundaries. That's our society conference coming up, and that's going to be in Minnesota. Woot Woot for the Midwest, and in October. 10/24, we have one of our SWE PNW EC meetings. That's going to be an online one. On the 25th of October, there's an Everett Community College SWE resume review where they are looking for professionals to come in and help review college students' resumes. So that's going to be up in Everett. And then our next digital digest, giving a quick plug out there, is going to be the 1st of November, same time. There'll be a link posted out for that. So it's essentially the same spot as well, because that'll be online. And then on the 10th, we have another one of our Think Like an Engineer's journeys, and that's also going to be in Bellevue. So I think that's a pretty good list of upcoming events in October and November, especially even around our society conference. So tossing it back over to Elaine, do you want to introduce our EC for this year?
Sure, we have a full EC this year. You have myself as your FY19 president, Teresa as your president-elect, Cherie is your treasurer, Marina is your secretary, Heather is your VP of outreach, and Sonia is your VP of professional development.
All right, excellent. So one of the things that I'm wondering, Elaine, with a full EC, what does our year look like in terms of our kind of getting into the strategic planning and strategic visioning?
So we came up with a theme this year based on the changes that happened at HQ with regions going away. And so we are calling it Taking the First Steps with a 3-year goal of kind of thinking of how we want to represent ourselves as a professional section and what we want to do going forward and also be there for the collegiate sections if they need our assistance. So the long-term plan is 3. It's currently 3, but we are finding things that are stretching out to the 5-year plan, and we are have section goals to focus this year with the new and updated SWE mission, vision, goals, and section theme.
Yeah, I think that's really exciting to sort of see that vision coming together. And I'm excited about being able to not only do the strategic plan for the 3 to 5 year plan, but also to incorporate into that the annual plan to help lessen the burden on some of our officers as we go forward each year as our officers turn over. So I'm excited for the benefits that that will bring.
Yeah, and the thought is that if we keep to updating and refining this plan, that it'll help alleviate volunteer burnout and also create more opportunities for people who want to do one-touch volunteering at a EC level versus taking on an elected position if that's not in your wheelhouse or if you don't have the bandwidth to do that right now.
Right. And I think that's a perfect setup for our next area to go through some of those touch points where we're looking for people to help volunteer in all kinds of level of effort roles. So Elaine, you want to start us off by what we've got for opportunities that people can join us and help plan?
So if you look at this is high level of kind of what we are looking for. Sonia, with professional development, is looking for committee members to either help lead events, either 1 month, or to help continuously with support. Or if you have people that you know that would like to speak or anything like that, and give presentations and just start something like that with Sonia, she's looking for people to help her there. Outreach and volunteering, we're looking for committee members, and we're always looking for volunteers. A section that we're trying to focus on a lot this year is the Girl Scouts with all their new engineering journeys and Think Like an Engineer badges that are coming, that have changed in the last 2 years. So we're trying to come up with different ways to engage with as many girls at different ages and age groups this year. So we're looking for people to help with that. We're looking for a chair for social and networking. This is new this year. We are trying to divide things out so it's not on so many tasks are on like one person. So if you are really into planning happy hours or if you want to co-lead or lead the book club, we're looking for you. Our member engagement, we're looking for someone to chair that. That is also a new position that we are looking or bringing back, maybe is a better word for that. So we're looking for people to also share your SWE story for our blog, and we're anyone who's going to the We18 conference in 2 weeks. We're looking for people to give stories or blogs or post their photos, use our hashtag, and that's what we're looking for in that area.
And I'll go ahead and add to that and say, like, that doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be give us one quote about something you learned or enjoyed at We 18. We just want to help share those conference stories, especially to those people back in our home area here who may not be able to attend.
Yeah, and if people have to plan a year in advance for the next conference, We 19 is actually in Anaheim. So that's a little bit closer than the Midwest is to us right now. And so another look, we're looking at corporate relations. We're looking for someone to chair that and kind of work with our members and kind of get liaisons within companies and see where we can leverage different people in their companies to either help with speakers or potentially funding scholarships or hosting a Girl Scout event so that the girls can learn something about engineering, whichever one that they decide.
Or even something as simple as like just helping pass on our SWE events within your company. So anything to kind of help bridge the corporate side to the section side. So again, many levels of opportunity there.
Yep. We're looking for someone to chair college relations. With being president this year, I had to step away from this role that I've been doing the last 3 years. And so those different students in the community college and at the universities are looking for different levels of engagement, whether it's the upcoming resume night at Everett Community College, or there's also some schools that are looking for mentors and they have their own programs. So we're looking for someone to help us better communicate with the students and back to our members so that they know about these opportunities. And scholarships are kicking off soon for the sophomore and above level. So we're looking for people to assist Dana on her task force on, I think it's a 2-year goal now, on
Yep.
on tweaking our scholarships, automating it more so they don't have to be mailed to us, or looking at how we can reach more students, or even fundraising ideas to get more scholarships for students because our current scholarships are just legacy ones. And we also will need judges coming in January. So if anyone is thinking about just even having time to judge the scholarships against our rubric, that would be great too. And then for section operations, we're looking for people to help us host our signature planning team. Like our holiday party will be coming up in 2 months. So we're looking for people to help with that. Or if anyone wants to help with our annual banquet, which is generally in May. Those are some of the events that we have under that. Special task force members, we are looking for people, like our bylaws have to be updated by December now. So if there's someone who's really into that and wants to help with language with that. Another one we have is the scholarship one that I just spoke about. We also have a task force on paperwork because a lot of what we're doing here at the EC is creating these lasting documents. So it's not as difficult for someone to step into roles, and that there are some history on what has happened or what has been done and what changes need to be made. So we need help with that. And even just content contributors, if you want to write a little blog about what you do at work, or if you want to, or if you're at an event and you want to post to our social media, we're always looking for other photographers.
And to kind of wrap this up in the sense of, you know, where can you look for more information on these items? Keep an eye on our webpage, keep an eye on our social media for the calls. Send our secretary an email and she'll connect you to the right group to get connected into where you're interested in volunteering. And we also will be doing periodic posts to our blog that will go through what we're looking for, because at any given point in a fiscal year, again, our fiscal year is July to June, we're always looking for people to step up for small things, medium things, or big things. So we're going to try to keep those opportunities more visible to the section. And to Elaine's comments earlier, being able to work this into our strategic and annual plan allows us to quantify this in a way that helps segment it out so that the level of effort for potentially each thing is less than doing all things. So we're hoping to help bridge that gap with providing more opportunities for our section members in the leadership pipeline as well. So with that, we will dive in a little bit more in terms of the SWE business and the behind the scenes. So up first, I think it's time to highlight our updated strategic foundation of SWE. Elaine, did you want to start off with this one?
So the updated mission is now to empower women to achieve full potential in careers as engineers and leaders, expand the image of the engineering and technology professions as a positive force in improving the quality of life, and demonstrate the value of diversity and inclusion. So D&I is a big thing that SWE is focusing on this year. They started it a little bit last year. If anyone went to conference, you would have noticed that there were some pronouns you could add to your badge, and they are continuing that this year as an example of something that they're doing. And our updated vision is a world with gender parity and equality in engineering and technology.
Yeah, so these are some really small tweaks to both the mission and vision, but I think they really sort of set the tone for where SWE wants to be going as a strategic organization, which then we bring to the SWE PNW level. And I'm excited to go into the goals next because that's where we really see the impact of bringing that diversity and inclusion language to the overall mission. Because if you've been following what the SWE strategic goals are, you've probably seen the professional excellence, globalization, and advocacy goals. This year, with the emphasis of diversity and inclusion, that is now a fourth tiered out goal that is specifically called out at the SWE goals level. On the professional excellence side, SWE will be the premier resource for females in engineering and technology seeking growth and advancement at all stages of their career. On the globalization goal, SWE will be recognized as a global, inclusive organization empowering females in engineering and technology, regardless of geography or career stage. On advocacy, SWE will be the preeminent advocate for females throughout the engineering and technology pipeline. And the new goal for this year, diversity and inclusion, SWE will champion diversity in the engineering and technology professions and will promote an inclusive environment. So I'm really excited to be renewing our focus on the goals, and specifically at our executive council meetings, we're bringing in that D&I aspect very specifically every meeting by following what the board of directors does and the Senate does, and having the start of our meeting be a D&I moment, and taking a moment to pause and think about diversity and inclusion or have a discussion on that. Elaine mentioned the pronouns that you saw at the last conference. We did a D&I moment on inclusive language recently. So really excited to be bringing these details and the goals down to the section. Um, Elaine, did you want to offer anything on the goals for, in terms of how we're looking at them from a section?
Uh, I'm trying to think if we're doing anything on top of that besides the D&I off the top of my head. I think you covered everything
Okay.
that we have working through right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there is one thing with obviously with globalization, we're kind of more thinking within the Puget Sound,
Right.
Western Washington area, where we kind of have a goal where we're going to try and do a co-network event at some point this fiscal year with another local group. And so whether that is with the collegiates or if that's with a different group that also represents women in the area, look for something like that. That should be coming up.
Yeah, and I think really the main thing that we're looking at is not only making sure that we align and our activities align with these goals, but also taking these goals and creating our own section goals and flowing those down and holding ourselves accountable for our own growth and progression too. So excited to be evolving that behind the scenes as well. So speaking of evolution behind the scenes, also really excited to announce sort of our new branding for this year for some of our section-wide events. We talked about it a little bit in the minute or so with SWE PNW, but this is the detail behind what our signature events are. Um, as Elaine mentioned, these are things that are like our holiday party. Um, the intent of this is to really showcase section-wide events that are planned through collaboration across focus areas, so that it's not just like this is a PD event or this is an outreach event. This is something that we target to the whole section and that we want to plan early, get a team around putting these events together and have, a wide opportunity for members to engage with us. So our current list of FY19 signature events for this year is our holiday party. We're also going to be trying to do our mid-year open house. Again, the target for that is February. In March and April, we're going to be bringing back for the third year our self-defense seminar. We're hoping to expand that to also include an additional session on potentially something like stress management, stress relief, and then our annual banquet in May. So we've got 4 of these that we're essentially relaunching, rebranding as signature events, which means we're going to put out a call for help now. If you'd like to help lead one of these planning teams or participate in the planning or be a volunteer day of at one of these events, please let us know. We are looking to get that help to get these events planned. There is going to be some more information coming soon on our blog about our signature events and kind of the logistics of each one because they're all a little bit different. But if you're interested, send Elaine an email at swe.pnw.president@gmail.com and she'll get you connected to the right, belly button to get that going. Do you want to add anything else on the signature events?
Well, obviously, as far as time wise, the holiday party is within the next 2 months. So if there are people who love the holidays and have ideas for that, let me know. We are starting to plan that out. So any help with that one would be greatly appreciated.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. So up next, one of our other updates for this year is we're trying to build in some better metrics and better benefits for our SWE members, and it's our event ticket type and pricing updates. Elaine, do you want to walk us through this?
So one of the things that we were I don't want to say contemplating, but we're pushing to change to be more inclusive with our demographic here is having the different ticket pricing. So there is the SWE member professional, and it's a discounted ticket price, and you'll have to give your SWE member number in order to get that price. You are able to look that up on the SWE portal, and we can post something on Facebook as a reminder if people don't remember their SWE member number because unlike other groups, SWE only gives you your card once and then that's it. So if you don't know what your SWE member number is, we'll post something up to as a reminder of how to get that. And then for our college students, we want to encourage them if they are able to come to our events, we have a discounted price for that. And your SWE number will also still be required for that price. And the biggest new one would be the retired and unemployed. That is a discounted ticket price, and your SWE number will be required. But we we know that that it is difficult with retirement and unemployment of having a fixed income, and we want to encourage people at all stages of their career to be able to come to events and not feel like they can't come. And then for non-SWE members, you will be paying for the full cost of the event. And this is so that people know that the $100 yearly membership for the as a professional member, or as I think it's less than that for a collegiate, but that this is a benefit to come to our events at the discounted price.
Yeah, and I think we'll just reiterate that, we will put stuff up on the blog about this information as well as how you can find your SWE membership number. Actually, the Leadership Coaching Committee recently did a blog post that walks through how to maintain your SWE profile. So we'll make sure we'll cross-link to that. So excited to see this because in addition to ensuring that we've got the benefit for the SWE members, it helps us at the EC level understand kind of the range of members that we have coming to our events a little bit better from a metric standpoint. So excited to see how that flows out. So then going from there, you've heard us use the term already in our digital digest today, but want to explain a little bit what we mean about our focus areas. So our focus areas are basically our areas that we have an intent around and we have example events for. So on the left-hand side, we've got our focus areas, which are things like professional development, outreach and volunteering, social and networking, member engagement, and corporate relations. On the professional development, our goal there is to provide formal and informal learning opportunities to allow SWE members to develop skills to help in their professional careers. And these are our events like tech tours, workshops, continuing education, providing the opportunities for members to speak. So that's our focus area around professional development. For outreach and volunteering, our goal is to engage with the community around STEM related activities and provide volunteering opportunities for SWE members to impact their local areas and local communities. These are like Girl Scout events, community engagement, STEM volunteering, activity booths where we showcase little hands on things like an articulated hand or making silly putty. So lots of really good things there. Um, as Elaine mentioned, social and networking is a newly introduced focus area for this year to try to break out and help make these pieces more manageable. The goal there is to provide the formal and informal opportunities for SWE members to engage with each other, build relationships, and make new connections. So these are things like happy hours, hosting and going to a game night, non-engineering related social events and hobby nights, that kind of social emphasis. On the member engagement, again, kind of a revitalized part of what we're focusing on, it's to look at the recruitment, retention, and engagement of SWE professional members with the section. So that's our SWE focused member engagement there. And that's, reaching out to new section members, connecting experienced members with newer members, telling our SWE stories, helping talk about the leadership pipeline, and making sure people know how to engage with the section and with the society to get the most out of their their membership, as well as recruit new members to SWE to show them the benefits of being part of a great organization like this. And then finally, our corporate relations is again a little bit of a new spin this year for how we're going to try to focus on engaging with local companies and partner organizations to interact with our SWE section. And those are things like our company liaison, working to develop fundraising and scholarships, professional outreach, and we're going to be working on having a core deck to highlight the section so that whether you're an individual going to the company, like a company liaison, or a member that's trying to get your company engaged with SWE, that you'll have some material from the section to help support that conversation. So really excited to see those pieces coming together. So switching from there and going over to our task forces. Elaine, you want to jump in and walk us through this?
So the task forces, the intent is that as president and president-elect for this current fiscal year, will oversee the task forces, and by oversee, it either means that we are at a very direct level, that we are one of the leads for the task force, or that we are giving the guidelines of what we're looking for each task force. So what is a special task force is a question that you might be asking. It's a team focused on a specific issue for a specific amount of time. It has a lead, which is approved by the EC, and has a team of at least 2 members, preferably more.
Always preferably more.
And these members are approved by the president-elect. And it really, the first thing is just asking to be on them and based off of your interests. It starts with the problem statement and then the goals, what we're expecting as deliverables, and the expected time frame of the completion of it. So an example of a task force that happened at the HQ level that was enacted last fiscal year is the previous year they had done a special task force to look at their scholarships. And based off of that, they updated language and they updated information about um, community colleges and how students at the community college level is eligible for the scholarships. And so based off those suggestions, they were voted on and enacted at the HQ level, and then they were voted on at the region level as one of the last things that we did at regions last year to be updated for this coming year's scholarships, as an example of something that happened at HQ just recently. So special task force leaders will report to the president-elect, and that is more if, especially just so we know what's going on, and if you aren't able to attend the EC meetings, whether in person or online, then we have updates to give to the EC in general about what's going on. It ensures a cross-functional team to address the issue. So it's not just one-sided, it's not just siloed, it's not just specific leaders this year who get burnt out by doing too much stuff. It's multiple people coming up with ideas and collaborating together on these topics. there'll be report outs provided periodically, and we'll post them in rainy day reads to let our members know what's going on. And we'll develop a voice of the customer or VOC inputs as needed. And these deliverables will be presented as solutions to the current year's EC. And from there, we'll decide whether or not if we will do them, how to enact them, if it's a quick thing, if it's over time, and we'll manage the communications through Google Groups.
Yeah, and I'll add to that is we're really following the society model there that Elaine referenced in terms of how they do their task forces to look at a specific issue with a specific time frame with a specific group of people, but also that it's looking at it to then present the ideas up to the EC so that the leadership of the section is, you know, helping decide which way we're going and what's feasible and what we want to focus on in any given fiscal year, because there's always something to be working on to improve. And one of our improvements that we're trying to do this year as a goal is create better visibility, which is what drives publishing out to rainy day reads as a blog and record retention through the Google group. So excited to see this coming a little bit more mature this year, where we kind of piloted a few things last year that are carrying over into this year. Which, speaking of which, just to give you an idea of what we are looking at a section level, we have 4 task forces or special task forces that were started or kicked off last year in some form. So these are currently active ones. The first one up is looking at our section election standard operating procedures, or SOP. This one is targeted to be a 2 to 3 year task force, and we're going into the second fiscal year right now. And we're looking at how do we improve our election process, from the candidate vetting side of it, which we improved and did some tweaks last year, to the actual election process, to the results and the reporting. So I'm going to be picking some of that back up here in the next couple of months to continue looking at that. Lane mentioned our section bylaws update. That's a quick turn one in the sense of getting that done by December. So if you're interested in a bylaws update, let us know on that ASAP so that we can get you connected to that team. Our glory of paperwork and record keeping, because just calling a task force something about paperwork needs a more fancy title. This is where we're looking at what do we have behind the scenes, documents, templates. So if you have a passion for record keeping, paperwork, compliance, let us know, and we'd love to have you help us with some of the pieces of that task force. And then the scholarship program evaluation and improvement is our 4th active one right now. So if you're interested in any of these, make sure to send our secretary an email, use the task force number in the subject line, let her know that you're interested, and she'll help get you connected to the right one. I'll also say that if you see something that you think the section should be working on that might fit into the task force category, let Elaine and myself know, and we'll put it on the list for consideration and try to get that going, especially if there's people interested in leading or being on the team. Anything else to add on task forces before we jump on to our next one?
I think that's everything. I mean, some of these, they kind of stop and go. It's not always continuous. It's obviously based off of people's availability. But obviously, the 2 active ones right now are the bylaws, because those have to be updated and submitted by the end of this calendar year in December. And our scholarship program, there have been some tweaks going on with our application process, and there are more ideas on how to improve getting it out to the students, and and whether or not to include more schools. So those are 2 active ones if people are thinking about joining one.
Yes. All right, so I think that takes us to our next topic, which is how are we connecting ourselves at conferences? So up front, we do have a Facebook group that you can access through our Facebook page. It's our SWE at WE conferences. That's where we try to connect everybody who's going through the conferences, and you can join that group and you can leave that group. We just realized that there's always a lot of conversation that goes on in and around conferences, and then it kind of dilutes the main group. So we created a subgroup. One of the other things that we'll be doing here in the next week or so is actually creating our group me's so that people at the conferences can connect with each other live time. It's basically a texting app where you text within the app to communicate versus trying to find everybody's phone number. We'll be setting up a group for SWE PNW at We18, as well as coming down the pipeline for We Local Bellevue. And so we encourage you to engage, join our SWE at We conferences Facebook group, Watch for the post about GroupMe and join that group as well to get the latest. So speaking of conferences, the next one coming up here in a couple of weeks, we've referenced it a couple of times. So SWE 18, Let's Break Boundaries. So I feel like, Elaine, I should be obligated to toss this over to you as a Minnesotan to introduce us to the wonderful world of Minnesota in October.
So I know last year in Austin, if you were there with us, it was pretty cold. And Minneapolis is very far north of Austin, Texas. So there was concern with it being this time of year that it would also be cold. And while I can say it's probably going to be cold in 2 weeks, there is the wonderful benefit of the enclosed skyways. So if you want to never leave the inside and you just stay in downtown Minneapolis, everything's connected for like this huge block by block radius. So for the most part, you can say, obviously it's a little fast if you go outside and you walk on the street, but if you want to avoid the elements, we have the skyways because we know how cold our winters get. And if you do join us in the SWE at WE conferences on Facebook, I have a poll out there for a potential meetup. I don't 100% know if I can personally go. I'm going, which I think many people are. I'm going representing my company for the career fair. And so there's a lot to do with that. And I haven't been given a schedule yet. So I'm going to, at the very least, try and set up a, uh, a dinner, and I have a couple different types. I tried to keep the price with under like 20 or under a plate for dinner. And so please go and vote on what kind of a meal you would like, and I will set up the reservations, and hopefully we can get a group going. We had a group of maybe about like 10 people last year that showed up, and it's people, some of them were people on the EC and some were people that I haven't seen since the conference, and it was enjoyable conversations had by all. So it's a lot of fun. It's just kind of a nice little way for us to get together and say hi during the craziness that is the conference. And so just let us know if you're coming.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it for anybody that is a first time conference goer because being able to connect with somebody from your home section who's maybe been to the conference before might mean that you actually get to see them again in person after the conference. So that's always kind of a reassuring thing because conference can be a little bit overwhelming the first time you go. I'll also make a plug here. There's a whole bunch of We 18 articles out on the SWE Altogether blog. We're going to be trying to post a few of the ones to get everybody prepped in the next week or so. We've shared a couple to Facebook already. But especially if you're a first timer, there's a ton of information out there to kind of get you mentally prepped and ready. And for returners, they're continually revamping things every year based on member feedback, based on how things go. Like this year, they've even revamped the career fair hours. So make sure you're reading up ahead of time so that you know what to expect. And I absolutely recommend making sure you have the scheduler app and laying out your schedule, or at least schedule options for yourself so that you kind of have an idea of where you're going. So I'm excited for it.
It should be fun.
Yeah. And so then, setting up the next one, we have the opportunity to have one of the We locals come right in our backyard next year. And that is April 5th to the 6th in 2019. So this is, still the same fiscal year, but next calendar year. Um, so you might be thinking, what is a We local? One way to think about it is it's kind of like a much smaller society conference. In terms of what We Local has, you can get a lot of information from the welocal.swe.org webpage and overall updates there. But it's fresh ideas. It's more smaller groups of networking, professional development. You've got the career advancement. There's typically a career fair there as well, camaraderie. And then this year they've introduced a We Local Awards program. Speaking of society level task forces, they looked at what to do with that awards gap that was going to be left when regions went away, because there was typically region awards programs, and that's been replaced with a We Local Awards program. So those would be announced and presented at the We Local Bellevue. You can get the latest info on the Facebook event page. You can find that event through our page, and we've got a lovely banner up there. And for those of you that may not know, you might recognize the person in that picture as Dana Day. She is the We Local Host Committee chair, and so she gets to have her lovely picture up on the We Local Bellevue banner. So we hope that everything's going well on the planning side. And I know that she's typically looking for more people to help. So if you've got any questions or are interested in helping, that welocal.swe.org is going to have all of your information about how you as a member can get engaged ahead of the We Local conference. One thing to note in terms of us encouraging our members to be more global than their own backyard, there are other We Locals. You can attend any of the We Locals. We've got Baltimore in February, Tampa in February, St. Louis in March, and Denver in March. All of those conferences each have their own page off of that We Local page. So we encourage you to go check those out. All right.
Yeah, and I can say that for sure I'll be at both Denver and Bellevue myself. So if we get enough people that are going to the other We Locals, we can also set up little on the conference group on Facebook. We can set up a little meetup at some point too.
Yep. So keep an eye on that SWE PNW at We Conferences Facebook group. So rounding out our SWE business section here, we want to recognize our local members for the awesomeness that they do. And I'll go ahead and start out by recognizing Holly Bork, who has done a fantastic job getting our first set of Girl Scout STEM Journey events up and running for FY19. Know it's always a challenge working with the troops and with getting enough volunteers. So really happy to see we just finished one in September, and then there's two coming up. So excited to see that on the calendar for this year again.
And I wanted to give shout outs for Erin Kiselica for stepping up to be our FY19 SWE PNW Collegiate Scholarship Chair, and Talitha Costley for being our FY19 SWE PNW COM, which stands for Certificate of Merit, which is our incoming freshman scholarship chair. So Erin is working right now. They both are on the, speaking back to the special task forces, they are both active members on the scholarship task force. And the one that is currently going on right now or opening up soon is our collegiate program. And then Talitha will be leading the Certificate of Merit one come spring. And for both of them, they're always looking for people to help them too. So thank you guys for stepping up. You guys do a great job. A lot of what happens in our section wouldn't happen if it wasn't for members willing to put in their time for these things. So it's greatly appreciated.
Yes, and I will echo that. Thank you to everybody that has gotten a shout out and anybody who stepped up and attended or even volunteered at an event, because we put on some great stuff for our section, but it's not really much of anything if nobody comes. So even just showing up is a thing that tells us that what we're doing is of value. And one of the ways that you can engage just at a very simple level with the section is you can submit your own shout out. So if you see somebody doing something great at a SWE PNW event, or there's a SWE member that has done something stellar to help you out with your SWE path or your SWE career or SWE mentoring, please submit a shout out. We've got the web page down there at the bottom, but you can find that on our web page, and we do share it out on our Facebook page periodically. And the good news is after our digital digest, this lovely slide will get put up on our webpage so that the past shout outs are all up there. And we'll also share this slide. And we do try to tag everybody so that, you get the recognition, and so do your Facebook friends to know that you're being recognized by the section. So again, thank you to everybody who stepped up and helped this be a great section. So I think with that, we officially hit our Ask Me Anything section of our discussion. And I'm going to hop over, if I was smart about this, and find our Facebook page and our, let's see.
I'm looking at Facebook right now and I'm not
Yeah.
seeing anything currently.
Yeah, it takes a little bit because I know there's a little bit of an audio delay between us recording and it being live broadcast. I'm just seeing if we've got anybody that has commented. One of the great things about these digital digests is once we wrap up here today, this will be available out on our YouTube channel. That's one of our other social media and interaction platforms. So if you didn't catch it today, you can catch it later. So if you're watching this on the replay, thank you for actually taking the time to listen all the way to the end. And then we do try to split out the minute or so with SWE PNW as a shorter segment, and we've got playlists for both the full digital digest and the minute or so with SWE PNW. So we really do try to make our information accessible, whether you can attend it live or whether you're going to watch a replay on it. And that usually gives us enough vamping to see if the audio has caught up to the live broadcast. So as we check that, and I'm not seeing anything either in the group or on the Facebook page. If you're watching this on the replay, I mean, you can definitely go post questions out on the Digital Digest events page and in the SWE PNW member forum. Not only do our EC officers keep an eye on the forum, our page gets notified, and we get pinged when there's a question posted out in the discussion, and we will do our best to answer that, or reach out to you to have a discussion on what you post there. All right, Elaine, you got any parting thoughts here as we kind of give everybody a chance to try to comment?
Well, I'll follow up with, we didn't do it this AMA because we had a lot to talk about, changes that we're making this year for FY19 and just kind of letting people know what's going on with the conferences. But we didn't have a rotating topic. So if anyone is interested in practicing speaking on anything that they think would be good to let our members know, or if people are submitted their a speaking topic for even any of the we locals that are coming up next year and wants to practice in an AMA, they're more than welcome to. Just let us know ahead of time so we can get you on.
Yeah, that's a really important thing, is that we do try to, if you've got a topic or a suggestion, even if you're not the expert on presenting it and you'd like to see it in one of these, let us know. We want to try to make sure we're bringing information that you need as well as information that you want to have. And I'm going to just do one post in the member forum and go last chance for question, because that usually bumps it up to the top for any last questions. And I know one of the things, speaking of our online event formats, so we really started introducing online events probably in the last 2 years. The Digital Digest has been our live broadcast tool, which gives us both an event that we do live and a recorded event. I know Sonia's looking at professional development activities that she can do online, as well as the face-to-face stuff. In the past, we've done some LinkedIn resume review activities online through the Google Hangouts. So yeah, even if you can't make it to our events in person and you'd like to see something in the digital space, let us know. We've got the tools, we've got the technology, and if you give us the idea, we'll have the motivation.
Exactly.
All right, I think we have officially vamped enough on that one. So we will go ahead and wrap it up with some parting thoughts, which I will toss over to Elaine to close us out for the night.
So get connected with SWE PNW and follow us on social media. We are always looking for leaders or section volunteers. So there's multiple opportunities to help you grow your skills and to help the section as a whole. And let us know what kind of events you want to see and attend, whether they're someone wants to get a group together to do a 5K in the spring, to doing happy hour once a month, or they really want to work on networking skills. Let us know what you want to see. Our events are only as good as the feedback we get from our members. So
Yep. And I think with that, we will say thank you, and have a great night, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to connect with SWE PNW, and we will see you the next time. Have a great night.
bye.